Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Wrestling Experience. My name is Earl Cole, ladies and gentlemen, and tonight is Thursday night, and you've landed on the mothership once again for the Wrestling Experience. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a very special guest. Ladies and gentlemen, oh, he's here and in full effect. Ladies and gentlemen, I love this guy to pieces. He's here and he's in full effect. And he's here for you tonight on the Wrestling Experience. Plus, ladies and gentlemen, plus, we've got to take a petulant child to school. Tony Khan, once again, dips his toe in the controversial pool. We're going to discuss that and so much more here tonight on the Wrestling Experience.
Now with the hottest show in the universe, the Wrestling Experience, with your host, Earl Cole.
Acknowledge me.
Coming at you with all the dope shit, freshest WWE content, and also the AEW. You are now watching The Experience, the Wrestling Experience. Now with your host, Earl Cole.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Wrestling Experience, the first Wrestling Experience of 2024. And thank you all so much for tuning in on the internet. Thank you so much to all of my watchers out there, all of our subscribers, from DJ Storm subscribers all the way down to mine. Thank you so much for getting on the internet. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be discussing AEW Dynamite. Also, ladies and gentlemen, as I said before in the opening, we're going to take a petulant child to school, ladies and gentlemen, because Tony Khan has done it again. His big mouth just keeps growing like the Empire State. But we're going to discuss that and so much more here tonight. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm not here alone, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, no, ladies and gentlemen, no. He's here and in full effect, ladies and gentlemen. You know him, ladies and gentlemen. He's passionate. He's loyal. He's forthright. He's honest. And he gives it straight to the hip. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the one and only Mr. DJ Starlight Alex Rain.
Oh, yeah, baby. I feel it. I am feeling it tonight. And we are getting down and dirty to the nitty and the gritty. And we got plenty of good people in here. I see Howie Wheezy in here. I see Dee Dee and Dylan and Wesley West 304 and Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. You already know it's going to be a good crowd because we got ourselves a hot button topic Thursday night pro wrestling show right here on YouTube, on Facebook, on X, and of course, for the very first time ever, the Wrestling Experience is live on Rumble, and the mothership is full on sailing round and round the stratosphere. Earl Cole, thank you very much for inviting me back here on the show. It is a pleasure to be here on the first ever Wrestling Experience of 2024. And of course, we got a lot of hot button topics to discuss. I'm very, very happy to discuss it with you. And we are going to start the year off right because my analytics and my numbers keep on going up, just like my popularity keeps on going up, because everyone needs a little dose of DJ Storms in their life. You already know the drill.
And ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to my co-pilot, ladies and gentlemen, my co-host for this show. Ladies and gentlemen, she is a Wisconsin darling, ladies and gentlemen. She's got a friend named Denty, who's her bestie, ladies and gentlemen, and she's ready to come on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the one and the only, the Hall of Famer, Sarah. Let's go rain.
Hi, guys. Like I said, Earl, your intros get better and better every time.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I have to tell you guys something. I have to tell you something. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we have two Hall of Famers, DJ Storm and Sarah. Ladies and gentlemen, are Hall of Famers here in the Wrestling Experience, and I have to introduce them as such. because these two lovely people, ladies and gentlemen, need respect. They need their time. And of course, they give us our analytics and our energy. So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, on the menu, guys, we're going to discuss AEW Dynamite. We're going to rewind Dynamite. But ladies and gentlemen, first, I have to say something, ladies and gentlemen, and I have to say it right now. Here on the Wrestling Experience, ladies and gentlemen, I don't do this too often. But when I do it, ladies and gentlemen, it is for a special occasion. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be discussing Mr. Tony Khan, ladies and gentlemen, and that disgusting, and I mean disgusting, tweet, ladies and gentlemen. He keeps putting his foot in his mouth. And tonight, ladies and gentlemen, he doesn't know when to shut his pie hole. But I'm going to shut it up because Uncle Earl is going to take him to the bull of the woods. I'm going to take this little man to the bull of the woods. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to put some diapers on him and baby powder and send him on his way, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to be unprofessional and act like a baby, then I'm going to treat you like one. Ladies and gentlemen,
USA Network started it first.
Yeah. Well, yes, they did start it. Yes, they did start it, but Tony Khan shouldn't have finished it. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to discuss that. We're going to discuss that and so much more. But before we do that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go to this gentleman here, and he's going to tell you. He's going to give you his signature calling card, ladies and gentlemen. And Lord, my mercy, ladies and gentlemen, get ready to be entertained by this gentleman as I navigate the ship over the earth, ladies and gentlemen, because we've just beamed some people aboard, and we need to navigate it correctly. So I'm going to just go and navigate the ship, and I'm going to get out the way and let this gentleman get his thing on stage. DJ Storm, the floor is always yours.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Earl Cole. And as per usual, you already know what time it's for. It's time for the greatest introduction in the entire IWC. No one, absolutely no one does it like me. And trust me when I tell you, I'm a little on edge today. So trust me, you're going to get a little bit more spiciness than you usually get from DJ Storms. You're going to get a little bit more rage than you usually get from DJ Storms.
I like that. I like picante spicy.
But before we get into that, obviously everyone needs some energy in their life, and the only way to get pure, unadulterated, raw energy is by listening to this. Hold on. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, I am the one and only DJ Storms, and I would like to welcome each and every single one of you to the very first ever wrestling experience of 2024, streaming live on 4 different platforms across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different accounts. And we are going to get into some all elite wrestling material, as of course, you already know who I am, Mr. Controversy, and the operator of the best damn X, formerly known as Twitter, handle, Stop what you're doing. Stop what you are doing, because y'all need to take a nice big inhale, and I want you to feel that as it goes through your nostrils, and I want you to go, oh, dude, you got to do it again. You can't just, you need to do it again. Oh, yeah. Earl gets it. I want you to do it one more time. Oh. You got to hit the hat trick. You got to do it. You got to do it 3 times. You got to hit the trifecta, and I want you to go.
Shit. you
smell that? Oh yeah, Earl smells it. Earl smells it, baby. Earl, what is that smell?
It's not cocaine. It's excellence.
Damn right, it is absolute, pure, unadulterated excellence. Wait for it. Wait for it.
Oh my gosh.
Mankind, baby. And you already know that everyone just got a shot of adrenaline pulsing through their veins. But if you guys don't know where you can find me, it's very important that you do. You can find me on X and Instagram at HistoryMakerDJS. Once again, that is at HistoryMakerDJS, because all I do is make history in everything that I do. You can also add me on my personal Facebook for collaborations and business inquiries. Please send me an email. My email is, of course, stormstakeover@gmail.com. Be sure to like the official DJ Storms business page. And I may just send you an invite to join the official DJ Storms posse group on Facebook, which Mr. Earl Cole is an exclusive administration member of. It is incredibly vital that you get on that page. Of course, all those links are in the description of all of my streams. You can also follow me on YouTube. You can add me on Rumble as well. We always get a nice wide outreach. And I'm telling you, I am just so damn good that Earl Cole legitimately lost connection to the stream. I am so good. It is unbelievable. Earl Cole lost connection to the stream because he could not handle the pure, unadulterated excellence. Luckily, I'm on the stream. And Earl's back. Earl, as he buffers, what happened, dude?
I don't know what happened, but we got kicked out. I don't know what.
I'm telling you, I'm just too much. I'm too much, man. The energy is just impeccable.
He's a lot.
Yeah, he's a lot. Sleepers Sports Media, James, how are you? Thank you so much for coming in. We apologize.
Please make sure that you go and add me on YouTube, add me on Rumble as well. Be sure to hit the subscribe button, whether you're watching on my channel, Earl's channel, or the Hardcore Sports YouTube channel, because we want to get as many people in here as possible, and we want to get as many subscribers as we can, because the more subscribers, the better of an outreach for us, because we want to be number one when it comes to wrestling analytics. And when it comes to hardcore sports, we want to be number one when it comes to all sports analytics. So you got to hit the subscribe button. And of course, you got to hit that notifications bell with a huge coup de grace, because that way you're going to know whenever I pop up on YouTube. Because whenever I pop up on YouTube, oh, baby, it is the absolute best time to be on YouTube. And I think you know why. Because this is the only time that you're going to get to see this oh so glorious sideburn chin strap combination and this beautiful, beautiful mustache right here. Hold on one second. It's in here somewhere.
Yes, James. Yes, we are friends. Thank you so much for that. Thank you.
Hold on. Oh, yes. Yes. Oh, yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, please put your seats upright. It's go time.
Oh, yeah, baby. We are getting down and dirty. Hold on. I got to go. I got to blow on it. It is so sizzlating. We're going to light it up right here on the first ever wrestling experience of 2024. And I want you to do it with me, baby. A little and a dash of and a whole lot of because like hot, fresh, baked, crispy chicken right out of the oven with a side of rice, I am just so good. I am tasty, so sizzlating, the tastiest snack in the IWC, and everyone wants a piece of the Stormsmeister, and you already know that everyone in the chat, they're feeling that I am just so I am tasty. Anyway, we are going to get into the...
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think we can go off stage now and close the curtain. Good night, everyone. Anyway,
That's all you need, baby. That's all you need.
ladies and gentlemen, anyway.
That's it for the show.
That's it for the show, ladies and gentlemen. That was the show, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my God. Between DJ Storms' intro, you doing stuff, and then Hulagrim's comments. Oh my gosh.
Hulagrim knows the drill. Look, everyone
over here.
Stormsmeister.
Oh my God. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that is what we do here at the Wrestling Experience. We put smiles on people's faces, ladies and gentlemen. And ladies and gentlemen, you can follow me and Sarah on Twitter as well. Ladies and gentlemen, follow us on Twitter. And we'll give it to you, but make sure that you have the correct change when you get on our bus, or else we're gonna take you to the bull of the woods. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's just talk about this. Guys, what is wrong with Tony Khan? What is wrong with Tony Khan? Why can't you just, when you see something on Twitter, why do you need to clap back at everything that somebody says? Why is this happening? First, Jinder Mahal talks about who the heck is Hook. Then you had Tony Khan jump on the bandwagon. Then you had Eric Bischoff joining in on the fun. I mean, this is just ridiculous. This is ridiculous. What is wrong with you people?
It's like middle school.
Yes. Tony Khan gets upset.
Eric Bischoff, by the way.
Yeah, Eric Bischoff is ridiculous. Now he says Tony Khan is an idiot. Now come on. Now, Eric Bischoff, enough already with this. Enough. I know you hate Tony Khan, but you don't need to add to this. You need to mind your business. You really need to mind your business. Really.
He's desperate for attention.
Oh my God.
He's a desperate old fuck.
I'm done with. I'm tired of this. Tony Khan, you're embarrassing yourself. You're embarrassing yourself because this is not how a business person is supposed to act. You're acting like a 5-year-old. You can't seem to take criticism. What is wrong with that? What is wrong with that? Why do you need to clap back at every single thing someone says on Twitter? I don't clap back at my haters on Twitter. I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. I don't have time in the day to sit down and read everyone's negative tweets that they send me. I don't have time for that. I don't clap back at people. I just don't. Because
he was right in what he said, though. He was right.
Well,
it was unnecessary. It was unnecessary, but he didn't necessarily say anything wrong. I mean,
yeah. All right. He got upset with the Jinder Mahal being Jinder Mahal, getting the title shot against Rollins.
And Jinder sucked. He sucked.
Okay. All right. I understand. It's not the greatest booking decision that you have ever seen.
To say about Jinder, that's for sure.
Listen, it's not the greatest booking decision you ever seen on the planet. I understand that. A lot of people didn't care for the booking decision. But Tony Khan, you didn't have to open your mouth about it. You didn't have to open your mouth about it. It's not necessary. It's not necessary. It's not necessary. All of this back and forth. He said this to me, and now I'm gonna run to mommy and cry in mommy's arms because he hurt my feelings. And then this one comes out in the woodwork, and it's enough. You're looking like a fool. You're looking like a fool. It's 3 grown men on Twitter acting like 5, 6, and 7-year-olds. It's ridiculous. And every time I'm reading the tweet, I'm like, this is nonsense. I wouldn't even.
He wonders why people don't take him seriously.
No, and that is why William Regal said, and he said it well when he left AEW. He says that the backstage area is like Sesame Street, and it's the truth.
Oh man,
it's the truth. Tony Khan, you need to be a business owner first and stop being a child. And stop being sensitive to every little thing you see on Twitter. No one's going to take you seriously. No one is going to take you seriously if you continue with this childlike behavior. How are you going to get sponsorship? How are you going to get revenue if you don't act like a business person and somebody want to take you seriously?
Well, to be fair, I mean, the revenue is the highest it's ever been, and it's
Yes,
increased.
yeah. I mean, yes. Okay, yes. That I can give that. That I can give that. But he has to act like an adult here. He's not acting like an adult behind the scenes. He's not. You're supposed to be a professional wrestling company. Act like it.
You know what the problem is? The biggest problem is the fact that we already know that Tony Khan needs to focus on improving certain aspects of the show. More specifically, he needs to get better promotion and he needs to structure his shows better. But the thing that really puts a damper on this is the fact that even though what he said was factually correct, and even though Eric Bischoff continues to look like a fucking retard, which he is, by the way, but the thing is, Tony Khan is making himself out to seem like he's not focusing on what he needs to do to improve, even if what he's saying is correct and he's calling out the bullshit for what it is. It makes it seem like he's not focusing on the problems that he needs to correct, and he's doing all he can to deflect away from those by calling out the bullshit that he sees on WWE TV. And WWE TV isn't where it needs to be either. So even though what he said was 1,000% correct, even though Jinder Mahal is a fucking joke, Jinder Mahal is a lame-ass pro wrestler. He's one of the worst champions of all time. And even though Jinder Mahal, clear as day, shouldn't even be employed by any major wrestling company, it didn't come off as it would have liked for him because he's got his own problems to focus on, and it doesn't seem like he's giving those problems any attention that he should really be giving them, and instead he's focusing on social media banter. Now, Eric Bischoff, you don't really need to give Eric Bischoff any more ammo than he already does. The guys like Eric Bischoff and Jim Cornette and Disco Inferno and all these other fucking mindless inbreds, these are the types of people that are single-handedly making the IWC worse. And unfortunately, the only way that the IWC will become better is when these fucking people get deplatformed. Now, I'm all for free speech, but stupidity and retardation does not deserve free speech. Unfortunately, we are stuck with them. We're stuck with them, unfortunately. And in the grand scheme of things, Tony Khan set himself up for a scenario that made him look like he's not paying attention and he's not listening to the genuine criticisms that are being thrown his way, even though there's a lot of unnecessary hate. I would say probably 80 to 85% of the shit that he gets on social media is unnecessary hate. And that shit right there is taking away from the 15% of genuine criticisms coming from people like me, coming from people like Earl, coming from people like Sarah, and everyone else. So if Tony Khan would really just take a step back and not worry about what these fucking mortas, these fucking half-witted idiots have to say, maybe he would find it a hell of a lot easier. Well, when it comes down to it, social media is a fucking cesspool. And if I didn't have the brand, I would not have social media. Though, I will say I've met a lot of great people off social media, Hula Grim, Sarah, Earl, just to name a few. But in the grand scheme of things, social media is a cesspool. You can't take what is said on there seriously. Like, no. You take a look at me, even some of the people that I consider friends, Jay Leto, I don't even take them seriously because it's fucking social media. Who fucking gives a shit about what social media inhabits? Who gives a shit what is said on social media? That is not the main priority. MJF even said that social media is 7% of their audience. Now, I will say this. In his defense, what he said about Hook was correct. Hook is 29 or 30-1, somewhere around that vicinity range. He has one of the best records in AEW right now. Jinder Mahal is a fucking loser. But yet, what Tony Khan did, Tony Khan got Jinder more over than anything that WWE has ever done. So if that goes to show you that Tony Khan has the power to get all these people to show fake support for Jinder Mahal, the modern day Maharaja. I don't give a fuck if you're a Maharaja or not. You can suck my cockaraja. I don't give a shit.
I'm not going to expound upon that. But you can also use that on a hashtag, ladies and gentlemen, and trend that worldwide, ladies and gentlemen. Sarah, what did you make of this whole thing? Well, we'll wait for Sarah.
Oh, I came for a DJ Storm's rant, and I am so glad.
The modern day cockaraja.
That's right.
There you go. Again, put it on a fucking
That's
t-shirt.
right.
I swear to God, I will make WWE millions just from that one catchphrase alone. Triple H,
Oh
I'm
my
doing
goodness.
your fucking merchandising job for you.
That's right. That's right.
Sarah,
I
what do
just
you
think
think?
I mean, I completely agree with what you and DJ Storms both said. It's kind of childish. Like, I understand, promoting the show and getting more eyes on the product and being on social media. I get that. But the fact that he feels the need to comment back to every single person that he sees that says something negative, it's just, I mean, how do you have time for that? I just don't understand. Especially, and Dylan made a good point in the chat. He said it probably would have been different had Dynamite been a little bit better of a show last night.
It wasn't
It would have
necessarily
made
bad, but the second hour definitely felt off. Like, I don't know what happened there. That the Ricky Starks and Bar match.
We're gonna discuss it all.
Yeah, that was disappointing. Roderick Strong and Brian Keith. I mean, that was completely unnecessary. I understand what they're doing there, but that was completely unnecessary. And then the main event just kind of felt rushed. Like, after the Samoa Joe promo, it just kind of felt clunky.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, I just feel like Tony Khan is just putting way too much emphasis on responding to the negative comments on social media when he really should be spending his energy on making sure the storylines, writing new storylines, making sure they're cohesive, making sure everything flows nicely into the next pay-per-view. I mean, he said, I think Earl, you told me he said something, I think it was last fall, you told me that they want to do one pay-per-view a month. Well, you better get writing some storylines, TK. Like, hello. It just, I don't think it's necessary.
Going into Revolution, but the problem is, and this is what I've been emphasizing, the problem is the lack of structure. You don't know what you're going to get on Dynamite. You don't know what you're going to get on Rampage. You don't know what you're going to get on Collision. Everything just feels like a big question mark until like 3 hours before the actual show. Nothing has a good sense of fluidity. Like last week's shows had a decent sense of fluidity, especially Dynamite last week. Dynamite last week had a really, really solid sense of fluidity with the overall show. And I know Earl would agree with me on that. They started the year off right. And then this show, the fluidity of the show, the dynamic and the structure of the show, it took a turn off the rails as soon as the Sammy Guevara and Ricky Starks match started. Like, I'm not sure what happened.
I'm just gonna say this last point, and I'm gonna move on to Dynamite. I don't want to see this anymore. I don't want to see this anymore, and I really wish somebody would sit down with Tony Khan and sit down with him and have a really heart-to-heart talk with him. Have a straight talk with him about what business is and what focus is, and pay attention to what's going on in your locker room. Pay attention to what's going on in your business. Pay attention to the storylines, like Sarah said brilliantly. Pay attention to the quality of wrestling you're putting out on television every week, and the pay-per-views and the go-home shows. Focus on those. Focus on those. Focus on getting another live event team put together. Focus on that.
And I understand it's hard. I understand that it's hard to ignore that because let me tell you something. over the 6 years that I've been doing this shit, and with how outspoken I am and how much I put myself out there and how much I promote, because I promote like a motherfucker on all platforms of social media that I'm on, it's definitely hard to ignore that, because you get like 100 people are watching you. 99% of people could be all positive, but yet that one negative comment, it always sticks out. And I understand it's hard not to respond to that. And I get a kick out of responding to certain comments like that. I get a kick out of calling people out and calling them mindless inbreds, which they are. I do get a kick out of doing stuff like that. But at some point, when I am in the office at work, if I'm in the office at work, or if I've got some family shit going on, if I have some more important shit going on, I'm going to put my phone down. I'm going to put my phone down, and I'm going to focus on the important shit that I need to focus on first and foremost. And then maybe I'll forget about whatever's going on social media, and then I just carry about my normal brand business. That's what Tony Khan needs to do. He needs to focus on the important shit first. And when it comes down to it all, whatever is being said on social media is completely fucking irrelevant. That's fucking irrelevant. The ratings arguments, the ratings is fucking irrelevant. Whatever is going on with these fucking ticket sales and these arguments on social media, none of that shit matters. Just continue doing what you're doing, put on a good show, and ignore all that other shit. Because at the end of the day, people are going to go out there and they're going to spew blind hatred on AEW regardless. You can't really do too much about it because, again, the majority of people that inhabit social media, they don't know their fucking nose hair from their toenail. They're fucking retarded. You can't teach, you cannot fix retardation. You know what's that song? You know the song from Willy Wonka? Come with me and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Replace imagination with retardation and you have the IWC. Come with me and you'll be in a world of pure retardation.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you want entertainment, look no further than your bottom dollar than you just want, ladies and gentlemen.
Right.
Because there is nothing that I can do to entertain you as far as what's there. So I cannot add to it, nor I can enhance it, nor can I cap it. So it's what you get. What you see is what you get when you buy Coronet, ladies and gentlemen.
And one more time, fuck Jinder Mahal.
Yeah, well, again, like I said, how Weezy, how are you? Like I said before, and I'll say it again, ladies and gentlemen. Um, like DJ Storm says, like Sarah says, just focus on the day-to-day operations of your company, Tony Khan. Focus on that. Don't worry about haters. A lot of people don't understand. Yes, like DJ Storm, it's very hard for us to put out these contents, ladies and gentlemen. It's very hard to put out these contents. And like, I'm under a microscope too, ladies and gentlemen. I'm under a microscope all the time. And people do look at me too, ladies and gentlemen. And they look for me to do certain things. Okay? Now there are times where I'm not as perfect as I can be, but I try to be. But I'm not going to be perfect all the time. But you people on social media, sometimes you draw it out. You call me out on it. You write me on Twitter. You tell me that. But I don't clap back at it because I don't have time for that. My focus is to give you the best content I can possibly give you and to give you the best thing that I can do. I'm working with what I'm working with, and I give you what I'm giving you. And that's it. That is it. That is it. You either accept it or you don't. It's up to you. That's your issue. It's not mine. So Tony Khan needs to just focus on that. And he needs to focus and he needs to just keep his nose to the grindstone and give you the great wrestling and the great storylines and the structure that the fans are craving for. Just do the structure. Know what's on your show the next day. Put it out there and produce it. And that is what you need to do. And forget about these haters. Forget about the Eric Bischoffs. And forget about all of these other people. Don't clap back anymore, Tony Khan, because it doesn't look good on you. It don't look good on you at all. And people are not going to take you seriously. You know what? They're going to take you as a joke. And you don't want your organization looked at as a joke. You don't want that. You want to compete with everyone like Impact and WWE. Listen, like, say what you want about WWE. Say what you want. Do you think Triple H has all the time in the day to read Twitter on for hate mail? No.
Oh my goodness,
Triple
no.
H focuses on the task at hand, putting out the wrestling, putting out the good shows for Raw and SmackDown, giving you the pay-per-view. Because I'll tell you this much, this year Triple H has control of WWE 1000% in creative.
Thank
And
God.
he has to put out the best content. And if it's not the great content, we can't blame Vince McMahon anymore, ladies and gentlemen. We got to look to the northern direction, and that is Triple H and Endeavor. So they have to go there and focus on that. Because at the end of the day, they have to answer to Endeavor.
We'll see what
So
happens.
we'll see what happens. But Tony Khan, do your thing. So now, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about Dynamite. Let's talk about Dynamite. Last night, ladies and gentlemen, was the homecoming show, and they came back to Daily's Place, ladies and gentlemen. And the show, the first hour was okay. The second hour was a little weird for me. It was a little
Yeah.
off. I'm not sure what it was, but the plug sort of like came out of the socket a little bit. But I'm gonna save my thoughts on the show in a minute. But I'm gonna go to DJ Storm first. DJ Storm, what did you make of the build, the overall build for last night's AEW Dynamite?
Well, they built it almost like a mini pay-per-view, and it lived
Excuse
up to
me.
that mini pay-per-view expectation. They promoted the homecoming show. The setup looked great. The layout of the ring, everything surrounding the ring with the setup, it all looked fine. But after the Samoa Joe promo, it just kind of went off the rails, like I said earlier on in the stream. I don't know what happened. I really don't know what happened. I'm not sure if it was just a bad vibe backstage, which was kind of weird because I read that what happened with Tony Khan, it really wasn't a hot button topic backstage. So I'm not sure how you can blame it on that. I don't know what happened. I really do not know what happened. It just turned into a very off second hour. The women's 8-man tag was fine, and I have no problem with the Young Bucks coming out there and challenging Sting and Darby at Revolution. That'll be fun. That'll be very, very fun. But when it comes down to it all, the second hour, it just really put a damper on a show that started out very solid, and it didn't live up to that mini pay-per-view expectation. Not to say it was completely horrible. Monday Night Raw wasn't completely horrible either, but pro wrestling this week just didn't hit the same way that it did last week. Because last week, pro wrestling across the week, they started out hot. They really did start out hot, but as far as this week, I'm not sure what happened. It's almost as if the pro wrestling industry just took the week off. WWE and AEW, they just took the week off.
Mitch Kofsky said something about the overlay section on the
I'll take
screen.
care of that, Mitch. I'll take care of that later. We're in the middle of a fucking stream, bro. Don't you have to spew blind Orange Cassidy hatred somewhere? Come on, Mitch.
Freshly squeezed.
Sarah, what
By the
did
way,
you?
Nick, you missed my insult on Jinder Mahal. It became a meme.
Anyway, Sarah, what did you make of the overall build?
Oh my God. This is
I
far
voted
more
for it.
entertaining to me than Dynamite was last night. That's for sure.
I'm gonna need an oxygen tank. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my God.
Anyway.
This is the best.
What did you make? What did you make of last night's Dynamite?
It was okay. But I agree with both of you. It's kind of like the second half of it just kind of took a nosedive. Just weird. Just, I don't know. It seemed to me it seemed like overall, now I get it. Okay, they were back in Daly's place and it's this, it's a really big deal. And it seemed like they were trying to cram too much into a 2-hour show.
Yeah, that was another thing. That's one thing that Tony Khan has a problem with half the time. Half the time he just overstuffs his shows.
I mean, this was like blatant, like especially that 8-women tag match.
No,
like everybody.
That was fine. If they took the Brian Keith Roderick Strong match out, it would have been.
Well, I meant like it seemed like they just had to have everybody hit their finisher. Everybody had to, so-and-so had to hit Julia Hart, and then Julia Hart had to hit Willow Nightingale, and Willow Nightingale had to hit Sky Blue. Like it was just, I don't know. I just think like for the whole thing, they just were trying to do too much. So I think in the future, my advice would be if you're going to do something like this again, make it a longer show or split it up into 2 nights or something, because, do Collision and Dynamite out of Daly's place as a homecoming show. That way you're able to stretch it out a little bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna
okay.
agree. I think you made some great points, Sarah, and I'm gonna agree with your assessment. Let's talk about this first match, ladies and gentlemen. Hangman Adam Page took on Claudio Castagnoli. The match was fine. The match was all right. Great chemistry, great nuance in the match. I had no issues with it. It was all right for what it was. Hangman is still hung up on Swerve Strickland, and I'll tell you this much, ladies and gentlemen. I smell a cage match at the next pay-per-view. I really do.
God, I hope so.
And I think that is needed. It is much needed, and I think Tony Khan needs to do it. And hello, Mark and Dylan and James. Thank you so much for chatting, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm gonna go to DJ Storm. DJ Storm, what did you make of the match itself?
Pay-per-view worthy. Pay-per-view worthy. There's really nothing more that you can say when it comes to Claudio and Hangman. Pay-per-view worthy match to start off Dynamite. I was actually hoping we would have gotten this back in July when we had Death Before Dishonor coming up, because I personally would have loved to have seen Hangman versus Claudio for the Ring of Honor World Championship back at Death Before Dishonor, which would have been great. But hey, we got it here. They did what they needed to do. And in the end, this is all about Hangman getting back on the winning track after he lost to Swerve Strickland twice. Hangman is now in a position where he is winning matches. He got a win over Claudio. He got a win over Roderick. This needs to result in Hangman versus Swerve Part 3. There's no other way to go about it. I understand if you wanted to have Swerve and Hangman go out there and call out Joe. And listen, the main event scene on AEW TV is looking great. With Joe as the world champion, you got Hook mixing it up. Hangman and Swerve are right there. But here's the thing, and I mentioned this on the LFU last week. Swerve Strickland should not fight Joe in any way, shape, or form at Revolution. Because if Swerve Strickland fights Samoa Joe at AEW Revolution in any way, shape, or form, he's got to win. Listen, a blindfolded Ray Charles in a coma can see that Swerve Strickland is the next world champion. Everyone knows Swerve Strickland should be the next world champion. We know. But it doesn't need to be now. You elected to give Samoa Joe the World Heavyweight Championship after he has been nothing but professional, and he was rewarded. That right there is to be respected. So what do you do at Revolution? Well, Joe's obviously going to beat Hook next week. What do? You got 2 more than adequate main event players in Jon Moxley and Bryan Danielson, and you can either take one of them, and put them in that match with Joe at Revolution for the World Heavyweight Championship to let Joe beat them. Instead of throwing in Swerve Strickland and Hangman Page with Joe in a triple threat, you could make Revolution an all-around banger show with multiple main event caliber matches. You already got Sting and Darby versus the Bucks. And by the way, Hooligram, Sting requested this. Sting had a say in the match with the Young Bucks. And the reason why is because he can't work a singles match. Sting specifically requested to work the tag team matches because at the end of the day, even though he looks great, he's still 64 years old. He's still 64 years old. So I think we need to cease on the hate with the Young Bucks versus Sting and Darby Allin. We need to cease on that because it will be a proper, and I mean a proper send-off for Sting, and it's going to be a match that a lot of people are going to be eating their words on. But you got Sting and Darby versus the Young Bucks, something that we never thought we'd see. You have Joe as the world champion. Book him against either Jon Moxley or Bryan Danielson. And then you got Swerve and you got Paige. Make it part 3 in a steel cage. Swerve beats Paige. And then we have Swerve challenge Joe at Double or Nothing in May. And that gives Joe a decent amount of time with the title, and Swerve wins the title. Because Swerve, realistically, Swerve should be holding that title. When he wins it, Swerve should be holding it for the rest of the year. So we do not need to rush Swerve Strickland winning the World Heavyweight Championship.
I'm sorry to cut you off, TJ. So let me ask you a question. Let me get your opinion on this. I'm gonna pick your brain before I go to Sarah. What if? Listen to me. Let me see if I can get this. What if we had part 3 in a cage, right? And the winner faces Joe at Double or Nothing. Would that work?
I don't know about that. I would just go with the regular one-on-one steel cage match because that will tie up loose ends with Swerve and Hangman.
All right. Okay. Sarah, what do you think?
I liked the first match. I thought Claudio always does a really good job. I like Hangman. I thought they did a really good job. I definitely agree that Swerve and Hangman 3 should be happening at Revolution because there's plenty of time, because there's enough history and story behind those two that there's plenty of time by the time Revolution rolls around that it's going to add more to the story. I think he should make Tony Khan look it to be a more aggressive confrontation between these two. And I absolutely agree with you, Earl. I mean, you said it last night. I absolutely think that it should be in a cage. It should be a cage match for sure. Absolutely, another cage match. That way you can kind of get give the illusion that Prince Nana isn't going to interfere. There's no shenanigans going on. And that Hangman actually stands a chance against Swerve. But I swear, I'm going to make shirts that say Swerve 2024 on them because I really can't wait for Swerve to become champion. I think he is just completely different than he was when he was over in WWE. And he's fantastic. He's done such a wonderful job. He's grown so much. And I can't wait to see what's going to happen for him the rest of the year. But yeah, I thought the match was good.
To answer your question, Dylan, you see, here's the thing. They could have either the Bucks or Sting and Darby win. That's what makes the match a fun one because it's going to be unpredictable. They have 2 routes that they can go here. They can do the normal thing and have Sting win in his final match, retire undefeated in AEW, or you see, and this is where it gets interesting. The Young Bucks are clearly going through a transitional stage where they're going to be a lot more heelish. They're going through a heel stage where they're going to be just these cocky pricks, and they're going to get as much heat for themselves as possible. If the Young Bucks, being these heel characters, is going to add a rejuvenation to the tag team division, because we've already seen FTR and the House of Black, they lit it up on Collision. Private Party is back, and they're looking to really inject some flavor into the tag team division themselves. So if the Young Bucks, being in this heel position, this mega heel position, and they're going to help rejuvenate the tag team division, them retiring Sting and getting the win over Sting and Darby in that manner to get them more heat and carry that heat with them throughout the year to help get others over, I don't know how anyone could look at that and see that as a bad thing. Because here's the thing, And this is what I always state. I speak objectively, not subjectively. I put my personal feelings aside, no matter what you feel about the Bucks, no matter what you feel about Hangman, no matter what you feel about AEW in general. It's all about the objective truth when it comes to the long-term booking. And if the Bucks are going to be an integral part of the tag team division as these top-tier prick heels, because they retired Sting and they can build that story around, hey, we brought you back to professional wrestling. Without us creating AEW, you would have never gotten the second chance to end your career properly on your terms. You would have never had this opportunity. They could take out Ric Flair with a couple of BTE triggers and build the story around the Bucks just being these cocky dicks, being these conceited pricks. And that right there will gain the match more heat, more steam, and give Sting and Darby an even bigger reason to accept the challenge from the Young Bucks, have this be the main event, have it just be a spectacle, have it be just a straight banger for what it is, and boom, boom. That's how you end Sting's career. I don't know how anyone can look at it and say that it's an overall bad thing. Is it my first choice? No, I would have gone with Sting and Darby. But if Sting cannot work a singles match, you can't really sit there and complain because it's ultimately up to him and how his health is holding up right now. Because again, the man is 64 years old. The fact that he's even walking right now after what happened with Seth Rollins, that right there is a miracle in itself.
Listen, I'm not gonna hate on the tag team match. I'm not really gonna hate on it. What Tony Khan has done here is he's booked the match, and I think we should just respect his booking and respect Sting's wishes and just go forward with it.
I don't agree with it, but I respect it.
Right.
Right.
We may not agree with the booking, we may not agree with it, but I mean, this is what Tony Khan wanted. But speaking of next week's Dynamite, ladies and gentlemen, as you know, Hook is going to take on Samoa Joe in a counteract to what WWE did with Jinder Mahal and Rollins, ladies and gentlemen, and Tony Khan being a petulant child again. But
Ian McWilliams, no, the AEW tag team titles should not be involved. Those tag team titles should go on the House of Black. We do not need the tag team titles here.
Thank you for your comment, Ian Williams. Thank you so much. All right. So let's talk about this next match, ladies and gentlemen. It was Mitch Kowski's bestie, Orange Cassidy, ladies and Preston Vance, Dustin Rhodes, and Adam Copeland versus Brian Cage, the Gates of Agony, and Lance Archer. The match was fine. And sorry, Mitch, Orange Cassidy did win the match.
It was a fun match.
It was a fun match. Ladies and gentlemen. Before we go I forgot to ask this, and I always ask this on my show. Sarah, on an entertainment level, what do you give the Hangman match?
Entertainment level, I give it a B.
All right. PJ Storms, what number do you give this match on an entertainment level?
Oh.
Out of 10, I'd probably give it an 8. They did very, very well, and it was easily the best overall wrestling match on the show. They did exactly what they needed to do, and I really do hope that they go forth with Hangman Swerve Part 3 in a steel cage.
Yep.
I'm sorry. I thought you wanted letter grades, Earl.
Oh, no. The entertainment level.
I agree with DJ Storms. It's 8.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go with 8 as well. I'm gonna do an 8 as well. Love the match. Great chemistry, great nuance, everything was great. All right. So now let's go to this one. Orange Cassidy's match. I'm gonna go to you, Sarah, first. What did you make of the match?
I thought it was fun. I mean, it was nice to see all the guys in there. I mean, Lance Archer, though, that guy, he's a beast. I mean, Brian Cage is a beast, too. I mean, let's be real. But I thought it was fun. It was nice to see the combination of all 8 of those guys and how they can work together. It's really nice to see Adam Copeland in something other than just button heads with Christian Cage. Now, don't get me wrong, I love watching him with Christian Cage, Father of the Year. But it's nice to see him doing something other than, what he's been doing with Christian and his group. So
it was a nice way to get him into Daly's place for the first time.
Yes.
Absolutely, for sure. I mean, that's a big
Also,
deal.
I want to see an Adam Copeland Brian Cage match.
Oh my goodness.
I want to see an Adam Copeland Brian Cage match.
Yep.
Holy crap.
I would agree.
I mean, I've heard there's a whole list of people that he wants to in AEW that he wants to work with. And I know Luchasaurus was top of that list, that he wanted to work with Luchasaurus first. So, which that's got to feel really good for him. I mean, anybody I think would give their left arm to work with somebody like Edge. So can't really blame him. But I liked the match. I thought it was a fun match.
Yes.
TJ Sons, what do you think?
Very fun. It pretty much went the amount of time that you would expect it to go. Everyone got their material in, and we got ourselves a solid men's 8-man tag. Same thing with the women. They were pretty much one and the same. I was very, very happy that they got Thunder Rosa on the show as well, because Thunder Rosa should be the TBS champion by the end of Revolution. And the women, they did deliver from a pro wrestling standpoint, and if Tony Khan plays his cards right, this could be the best year for the women's division. We may as well include the women's 8-person tag along with the men's 8-person tag as well when we're talking about this, because again, 2 matches, they were one and the same, but they were 2 very fun matches, and they did what they needed to do. I'd probably give this a 6 out of 10. Really nothing over the top, really nothing overly special, because we see a lot of them. But again, it went in there. They did what they needed to do. All 16 competitors, they did what they needed to do.
All right. So on an entertainment level, what do you give this match?
I'd give it a 7. I liked it. Like I said, I thought it was fun. And yeah, I liked it.
Okay. Well, DJ Sun gave it a 6. You gave it a 7. I'm going to go up the dial a little bit. I'm going to give this a 7.5. The match was fine. The match was okay for what it was. I had no issues with the match whatsoever. Everybody played their part well in the match. Great chemistry, great nuance in the match. I had no issues with it. And it was great. It was great. What did you guys think of the vignettes for Daly's Place and all the matches that you have saw over the years on Dynamite? What did you all think of it?
I thought that was a very nice touch to the overall ambiance of Daly's Place. When it comes down to it, Daly's Place will be a part of history because that was Dynamite's home during the pandemic. And that era, if you really think about it, with all the moments that we got in Daly's Place, my God, can you imagine if all those moments happened in packed arenas full of people like what we're getting right now? Can you imagine if Sting debuted on Dynamite Winter is Coming in front of like 8,000 people, somewhere along those lines? Can you imagine if we got something like that? It really does get me thinking, like, man, Tony Khan gave us a whole like 5 years worth of pro wrestling moments within a year and a half of Daly's Place, if you think about it.
Yeah, and it was the only arena, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to know the backstory, it was the only arena that opened their doors to AEW. Nobody else would do it. Nobody else, everyone said no to him. Everybody said no to him. But Daly's Place they said yes. And they gave us, like DJ Song, they gave us some incredible moments. Ladies and gentlemen, they gave us some incredible moments on television that we will never forget. So let's talk about this next match. Sammy Guevara took on Kraft, or AKA Ricky Starks. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to know why, I'm going to explain why I call Ricky Starks Kraft.
I had to process that for a minute. Sarah's dying over here. I don't know what.
I'm right here. Hang on. Just explain why you call him Kraft.
Yeah, I'm going to explain, ladies and gentlemen. Professor Cole, stand up to the class, ladies and gentlemen. Come move forward and let me explain. Okay, if you ever had a grilled cheese sandwich, ladies and gentlemen, and you melt it on the bread, okay, and you ever see the triangle point that comes down on the grilled cheese, that's Ricky Stark's honker. That's what his nose looks like, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like the point of a melted cheese. So that is the reason, ladies and gentlemen, that is the reason for the name Kraft. Ladies and
I've never heard that in my life.
well, yes, ladies and gentlemen, you have to stick with me because I teach you some new things every day in this cook pot. Every day I teach you new things. Yes, so we call him Kraft, ladies and gentlemen.
I still
It
like.
don't go down it don't go down easy unless it's cheesy. Anyway,
I
ladies
still
and gentlemen.
like my insult to Jinder better.
Well,
That
okay.
was pretty good.
Yeah, that was good. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, the match was fine. The match was fine. The match was all right, ladies and gentlemen. Great chemistry.
I thought it was disappointing.
Well, I mean, it was okay for what it was. Okay, I'm gonna take it back. It was okay for what it was. It was okay.
Very blah, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. That may have been the weakest thing on the show outside of Brian Keith versus Roderick Strong. Also,
Yeah.
Mark, yes, I do believe Mercedes is showing up at Revolution. That's the best place to debut her.
So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, great chemistry, great nuance in the match. Both men played their part well in the match. So again, like I said, it was okay for what it was. I'm gonna go to Sarah first. Sarah, what did you think of the match?
It was all right. Like you say, it was all right for what it was. So, it wasn't really wonderful. It wasn't super crappy. It was just kind of there.
DJ, what did you think?
Blah. Very, very blah. Very disappointing. I'm not sure what happened. I'm not sure if Ricky Starks got hurt.
Hey, Wally, how are you?
I'm not sure if they rushed it because they had the brawl in the end to promote the big tag team title street fight that's happening on Battle of the Belts 9. It was just there. It was just there. It was just it really didn't do anything. I was actually excited for this match. I thought that these two were going to go in there and they were going to have a match that really embodied AEW, that really stuck out as one of the main it's a word that I'm looking for, like a main standout match on the show. I really thought that they were going to go in there. And
did you think it would? Were you expecting a classic?
Yeah, I was expecting something along the lines of what Hangman and Claudio did. And if anything, I would have actually loved to have seen Ricky and Sammy open the show, and they would have gotten a little bit more time. It seems like the match, it kind of just, it felt like it was just getting started, and then it just ended abruptly.
Dylan, Revolution is in Greensboro, North Carolina.
16,000 tickets already sold.
Yep. It's going up to 20.
Oh, yeah. I'm not surprised.
I won't be surprised.
I'm not surprised.
On an entertainment level, Sarah, what do you give the match?
I'd give it a C. No, we're doing numbers. Sorry. I'd give it a 4.
DJ, son, what do you think?
I'll give it like a 3.
All right. I'm going to go down the dial and give it a 2.2. It was okay for what it was. I'm not going to call the match a classic. I'm not going to sit here and say this was a stellar match. I just thought in my head, like DJ said, I thought we were going to get something spectacular.
Yeah.
And then the expectation in the air and the balloon just came out of it. And it just kind of just did it. It didn't do it for me after that. So it is what it is. All right. Let's talk about this women's division match. It was Willow Nightingale, Chris Statlander, Anna Jay Thunderosa versus Saraya, Ruby Soho, Sky Blue, and Julia Hart. The match was okay. The match was okay for what it was. All these ladies in this match put their effort into it. It wasn't like nobody was lazy in the match and one didn't carry their weight. Everyone did their part well in the match. The best moment of the match is when they did the eight suplex. I like that in the middle of the ring. I thought that was good. That was a good spot in the match. I never saw that before in wrestling. Never saw that in my life. Um, but like I said, it was okay for what it was. It was okay. And let me tell you all something before I go to my panelists. If you're not a fan of Willow Nightingale, why are you a wrestling fan? I just love me some Willow Nightingale. I am a huge fan of Willow Nightingale. You know why? Because she likes to have fun. She reminds me of myself. Cute, fluffy, and love to have fun. Yeah.
You're so fluffy.
Well,
Oh my gosh.
you just take the teddy for what it is. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I digress. Um, anyway, anywho, ladies and gentlemen, anywho, the match was fine for what it was, and it was okay.
My friend Jalitza from Florida, she's in the chat right now. Stone Cold does not need to come back, okay? Like she's in Attitude Era Mark.
Okay.
She hasn't watched wrestling in quite some time.
All
Listen,
right, Jalissa,
let
how
us
are you?
talk about the good pro wrestling that we got. Well, at least the first hour. Let us talk about the good first hour of Dynamite that we saw last night. All right, Jelly? Okay?
Okay. So
James, that's what I thought exactly. I was like, what?
yeah, well, thank you, James. Yes, I know I shocked the world by saying that. I understand. Anyway, what did you make of the match, Sarah?
I liked it. I thought it was good. It's just, like I said, it felt like with so many women there who are so very well known, they've all been included in a storyline in some way, shape, or form. Thunder Rosa just came back. It felt like they were just trying to squish so much into the match that I don't know. I think it could have been better if they were given more time, and it would have made more sense for them to do all these spots and all that other stuff. But I thought it was all right.
Jesus, what do you think?
It did what it needed to do. It did what it needed to do. All the women worked hard. There was no botches. There was no screw-ups. And ultimately, we got ourselves a solid women's match. And like I said in the beginning, if Tony Khan plays his cards right, you already got Deonna Purrazzo in there. Deonna Purrazzo and Red Velvet. I'm actually really looking forward to that match on Collision. You play your cards right, you're going to get yourself a really, really solid year for the women's division. And I do hope that at Revolution, Mercedes Moné is going to be coming on in. I'd give this probably a 6 out of 10.
All right. On the entertainment level, Sarah, what do you give this match?
I give it a 6.
I'm gonna go down a down. I'm gonna give this a 5.
Okay.
But the match was fine. Match was fine. I mean, for what it was. For what it was. I'm not saying it was a stellar match. I'm not trying to say that. I'm not saying it was a class. I'm not gonna say that. So if you're looking for that, forget it. But anyway, the match was okay. All right. Roderick Strong versus Brian Keith. The match was all right. Roderick Strong
on the show. Why was it on the show?
Yeah, I was kind of figuring it out. Like, why was this booked?
I understand what they were doing. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I understand what they were doing because you need to have the entire group. You need to have the Undisputed Kingdom, who's ever a member. You need to have them go out there and win on their own. And that I appreciate. Because I remember back in the day when the Usos were tag team champions And every single time they went out there, if they weren't with Roman, but the Undisputed Kingdom, they're going out there, they're winning matches on their own, and the entire group is out there, but they didn't get involved. Roderick Strong didn't get involved in the Kingdom's match on Collision, and then no one got involved here in Roderick Strong's match on Dynamite. That I understand. That I appreciate, but why did we need to put this on the show when you could have saved this for either next week's Dynamite or you could have saved it for a Collision, and maybe you could have given Roderick Strong a better opponent? Not to say that Brian Keith sucks, but I mean, no one's taking Brian Keith seriously right now. Nobody is.
No, it was I mean, this match, before I go to Sarah, this match, ladies and gentlemen, I would have said if it was in my head and I was doing the booking, I could either see this either on a Rampage or Collision or something like that. It wasn't really Dynamite worthy television match. To me, if you want me to be perfectly honest with you, if you want me to be really straight up with you, I believe that this match should have been on a Dynamite, a Rampage or a Collision, and then that would have fit the narrative of the show if you wanted to do it like that. But Sarah, what do you think of this match?
I don't know. I just felt like, again, they were trying to cram way too much into the entire show. I understand Tony Khan's, all about the Undisputed Kingdom right now. And he wants to make them relevant and get them on TV and this and that. But I don't know. I agree with Earl. I think it would have fit much better on Rampage or Collision. And I did just want to bring up too, is it just me or did it seem like Adam Cole's whole promo at the end, it sounded exactly the same as what he said last week?
Yeah, that's another thing. I really don't understand.
It was exactly almost the same.
They just kind of had him say the same thing, but they simplified.
Copy and paste booking. That's what I call it.
Yeah, I'm just like, what the hell?
Kind of lame there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I was not happy with. I'm like, we already heard this. Like, have him say something different.
Right.
Be a little bit creative. And you would think, being that they made this into such a big deal. This was the home, AEW homecoming at Daly's place. You would think that Tony Khan or one of their writers would have written something more impactful for that promo instead of just cut and paste it. So I didn't like that part at all.
On an entertainment level, DJ, what do you give this match?
2.
Okay. Sarah, what do you think?
Dose.
All right. I'm going to go down the dial in a 1.0.
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry, but this was not. This wasn't it. This was no bueno. This was no bueno. I'm sorry. All right. I think we're up to the main event, ladies and gentlemen, of Dynamite, and that, ladies and gentlemen, was Sting. Now I'm going to say something here. And I said this last night on AEW Dynamite Watch Along. Every time you see Sting wrestle either in Florida or Ohio or Pittsburgh or wherever Sting wrestles, that is his last match in that market. So if you want to see Sting in action, you have to either go live in the arena or you have to turn on Dynamite and watch him perform in that market. So last night, ladies and gentlemen, Sting wrestled his final match in the Florida market. The match was fine. The match was all right for what it was. I felt that it needed more time for it to marinate with the audience. That is just my little hung up on it. But I'll tell you this much. The spot that was really good was when Sting put Powerhouse Hobbs through the table from the viewing stand where the audience was. and he put him right through the table. Now I was
Hobbs is
scared for
hurt, by the
Sting.
way. Hobbs is hurt.
Yeah, Hobbs
Is
was
he
hurt,
really?
and
Yeah,
yes,
I'm not
yeah,
sure. I'm not sure how bad, but
but he
Oh
didn't
man.
look. He didn't look good. He didn't look good after he was put through the table. Now I was
Oh,
scared for Sting. I was scared for Sting in this spot because there were two tables there, and I said to myself, now the last time Sting did that, he went through the two tables. He injured himself.
yup.
And this was what I was concerned with because he needs to make it to Revolution. And he doesn't need to do unnecessary risk. But he did it. He did it. He did the spot. He put Powerhouse Hobbs through the table. And he beat Powerhouse Hobbs when the 3 count was ministered on the floor. Um, like I said, the match was okay. Everybody played their part well in the match. Great chemistry, great nuance in the match, and everything was fine. DJ Sons, what did you think of the match?
I thought it was really getting good, and then they just kind of ended it rather
Excuse me.
abruptly. It feels like they could have gone with a few more spots. That's why I said that they should have taken away the Roderick Strong and Brian Keith match, and you should have given an extra 5 minutes more to the main event. And then you could have had the Young Bucks interrupt Sting before he started cutting a promo. That would have been a little bit better. I understand what they were doing, but the match towards the end, it really kind of felt rushed.
Yeah.
It felt like in the same category as the Ricky Starks and Sammy Guevara match, except with what happened with Sting and Darby. It seems as though the match with Sting and Darby and the Don Callis family, it kind of felt more exciting because of the high spots. Meanwhile, Sammy and Ricky, it didn't really feel like they broke out of the first gear.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with that assessment. Sarah, what do you think?
I liked the match. I thought it was all right. I don't know. I thought they were just trying to do, again, I know I've said this before. It's like they were trying to squish too much into the match. I thought to me, it looked really funny when they were going all over the arena. And it's like, you're in Daly's place. You're not in a 25,000 seat arena. You are in Daly's place. Like it just didn't look right. Like when Hobbs and Sting were off and Sting pushed Hobbs into those two trash cans and he collided with them. It just, I don't know. It looked goofy to me. It just looked really weird. But yeah, I mean that, and I had the same thought as you, Earl, when Sting did that Scorpion Death Drop off that ledge onto that table. I was really afraid that he was going to hurt himself again, like he did the last time he did a table spot. Because yeah, I mean he's got a hard stop at Revolution, so it's not like they're gonna extend it out because he hurts himself in a match.
Right.
It's like, well, this is the date I'm done. If he can't make it, then he can't make it because he's injured. But I don't think Sting should and he does not need to do any more like really high impact stunts like that. I don't think it's necessary. He doesn't have anything left to prove.
I'm going to agree with the assessment, and that was brilliant analytics by you.
Thank
Sarah,
you.
you're welcome. This is the reason why you are part of the Hardcore Sports Network. You always bring out the best analytics that you could possibly deliver, and you always 1,010% deliver the goods, and I love you for that. But like I said before, and I'll say it again, ladies and gentlemen. The match was fine. The match was all right. Great chemistry, great nuance in the match. Everybody played their part well in the match. I had no fun. I had fun watching Sting. I'm a big fan of Sting, as everybody knows. I'm gonna be like Sarah and myself and Sherry and everybody else who loves Sting. We're gonna be sad. We're gonna be sad when that 3 count is ministered and Revolution is over. And he should close Revolution. Sting should close Revolution. That should be your main event. Sting's final match should be the end of Revolution. That's what closed Revolution, fade to black, and have Sting's hand raised in victory, and the pyro goes off at Sting, and the balloons come down for Sting and everything else. That is what should happen. in Greensboro, North Carolina, and I won't accept anything less. And I'm going to be sad this thing is going to go. But you know what? He gave us some incredible moments in AEW. He really did. And I applaud him for it. He's a tough cookie at his age. He gets up, he dusts himself off, he doesn't believe in drama. He does his job, he puts a smile on everyone's face, he goes back in the curtain and goes home. And that's what I like about Sting. And I wish everybody was like that. I wish everybody was like a Sting.
Yes.
I wish everybody was
Hands
like a
down.
Sting. Um, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, before we do anything, Sarah, on an entertainment level, what do you give this match?
This match, I give it a 6.5.
Okay.
I'll
Do you
probably
think
give
so?
I'll probably give it a 6. It really if it went like another 5 minutes, maybe I would have bumped it up a bit more.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with that assessment. I'm going to agree with all three of you, all two of you, excuse me. I'm going to go with the 6 as well. The match is fine. The match was all right. I'm not going to say it was an instant classic. Like I said, I liked the part where he put Powerhouse Hobbs to the table. It was an unnecessary spot. However, they did execute it and they did deliver it. And I don't want to see Sting do something like that again. I don't want to see him do that again. I don't want to see him get hurt while he's trying to travel to Greensboro for Revolution. I don't want to see that anymore. I think if Tony Khan needs to do the same thing. And let me ask you all something before we close. Inside sources at AEW, some of the talent says that they want Tony Khan to do less blood spots in their pay-per-view and television. What do you all think of that?
Well, I mean, he wasn't really doing any here, so I mean, I guess that's a start. I mean, I would say that it's definitely necessary to tone it down a little bit. You want to save it for the very special occasions. You could say that it is overused in some aspects, but recently we haven't seen too much of it.
Sarah, what do you think?
Agree. I mean, I think it should be brought out for, certain feuds or certain pay-per-views when the need arises, when the situation calls for it. But Jon Moxley doesn't need to be bleeding from his head every time he gets in the ring. It's old, boring, and tired. It's like, come on, man.
Right.
But I mean, if somebody ends up getting nicked or something on accident and there's a little bit of blood on somebody's eyebrow, let's say, you can't help that. But yeah, any big blood stuff, save it for the special occasions.
Yes, and thank you, Charles, for your comment on the chat. We greatly appreciate it. Hit the like button on my channel, hit the like button on DJ Storm's channel, and hit that like button on the Hardcore Sports. We greatly appreciate it. And remember, follow them on Twitch at Hardcore Sports One. Follow them on Instagram at Hardcore Sports. Follow them on Twitter at Hardcore Sports N. And of course, subscribe to their YouTube channel and hit that like button. Hit that like button on my channel. Hit that like button on DJ Storm's channel. Hit that like button on the Hardcore Sports Network. We hope that you had a great Thursday morning, Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening here at the Hardcore Sports Network.
Breathe.
You're not DJ Storms. You can't go balls to the wall.
Right. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, before we get out of here, ladies and gentlemen, I have another announcement that I have to make. On February the 17th, ladies and gentlemen, on Saturday, February the 17th, we're presenting a new show that I'm going to be hosting, ladies and gentlemen. It's called the Wrestling Chronicles, ladies and gentlemen, powered by Hardcore Sports. It is a brand new show, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to give you all the news, rumors, and reports of wrestling, ladies and gentlemen, that comes out of the airport. I'm going to give you my thoughts on it and everything else. So tune into that, ladies and gentlemen. It's a brand new show. It's called the Wrestling Chronicles. It will happen on Saturday, February the 7th. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, on February the 8th, the Wrestling Experience, me and Sarah will welcome Orange Cassidy's bestie, Mitch Kofsky. Mitch Kofsky will be on the Wrestling Experience on February the 8th. Ladies and gentlemen, he's coming back on February the 8th with a very special start time of 8:05 Eastern Daylight Standard Time. So that's all happening. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to return into cyberspace, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow night with the great Denise. Me and Denise will host Friday Night SmackDown, and we will bring you Friday Night SmackDown, and we hope that you have a good time with us because we're going to get crunk. We're going to get crunked on a Friday night, ladies and gentlemen, with the WWE, ladies and gentlemen, and that will happen tomorrow night, ladies and gentlemen, and you don't want to miss a moment of that action. So, and ladies and gentlemen, just to let everybody know, the Queens of the Ring return next Tuesday. Now, next Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen, is a very special day because it is our 1-year anniversary, ladies and gentlemen, of the infamous episode of the Raw Watch Along with me, Jeffrey, and Mitch Kofsky. Ladies and gentlemen, when we introduced Omos as green as goose. Ladies and gentlemen, that episode turns 1 year old. And if you want to see the episode and laugh your behind off, go to the Hardcore Sports Network chat. The link is in there. All you have to do is turn the link on and watch Mitch Konsky lose it on the screen, ladies and gentlemen, along with the late Jeffrey. It was absolutely the most funniest thing we've ever done. And it turns 1 year old next Tuesday. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget this Monday night, ladies and gentlemen, we present to you the Martin Luther King edition of Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw, ladies and gentlemen, we had a dream that Raw will be good this Monday night, ladies and gentlemen. And let's hope we get that. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching the Wrestling Experience. I want to thank DJ Storms. I want to thank the Hall of Fame Sarah. Sarah and DJ Storms, the Hall of Famous place, but they were absolutely fabulous. And I will ask DJ Storms to return to my channel in the near future, ladies and gentlemen, just to let everybody know, I'm going to be on DJ Storms' channel on February 1st. We're gonna do Vengeance, ladies and gentlemen, NXT Vengeance. We're gonna do that on February the 1st. But ladies and gentlemen, next week we will return with another edition of the Wrestling Experience. I'll let you know who the guest is. I'm working on it behind the scenes. So tune in for that, ladies and gentlemen. But I will return in cyberspace tomorrow night with the great Denise, and we're gonna get crunk on Friday night because it's Friday Night SmackDown. I'm Earl Cole, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday evening and have a safe weekend, and I'll talk to you real soon.
Now with the hottest show in the universe, the Wrestling Experience, with your host, Earl Cole.
Acknowledge me.
Coming at you with all the dope shit, freshest WWE content, and also through AEW. You are now watching The Experience, the Wrestling Experience. Now with your host, Earl Cole.